So we got the movie A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey is a romance drama movie releasing in the cinemas for the final weekend of summer. Thank God, I'm ready for scary stuff. And for the start of the scary fall Halloween cozy season, it stars Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie. So I guess in other words, you would say it has A-list all-star power cast, kind of. However, after seeing the movie, to be honest, it kind of feels like a character study deep dive or a slice of life, as you were to call it. And I'll explain my reasons why. What happens when you have two amazing, beautiful looking strangers who meet at a wedding and quote unquote go on a big, bold, beautiful journey, lol. But not to the future, however, to the past, to uncover and rediscover some of the most heartbreaking and challenging scenes from their histories, sometimes their paths being intertwined. Will they be the same age when they actually go back to these scenarios? Will they even be together at the end of the movie? Find out as we talk about it. Let's start with the obvious, because the movie really centers on these two. Do I think Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell have chemistry? I think they have enough chemistry to make the movie suffice, enough to make work. In other words, I don't think it's like the best chemistry. If anything, let's be honest, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Margot Robbie, I think is just a little bit too good for Colin Farrell. I mean, don't get me wrong, Colin Farrell, no homo by the way, no homo. He is a good looking, attractive man, and of course with that accent that he plays in the movie, I actually don't know if that's his real accent because I've seen him like the Penguin and stuff, so, or the Penguin in the Batman universe with Matt Reeves. Yeah, I think Margot Robbie's just a little bit too good for him, but still, I feel like they're mostly good friends or good hookup buddies, which I'll touch more about that towards the end. There's another movie when I was watching this that really caught my eye or really made me remind of. Do you know that movie that came out a few years ago? Hence, I also did a review on this channel. It was called Which Brings Me to You, that stars Lucy Hale and Nate Wolff. Well, that film is kind of similar to this one, not just talking about their past heartbreaks or relationships. You see actually these two characters go through physical doors and of course experiencing what happened in the past, such as family structures, deaths, and high school musical reunions. I thought it was interesting because they both rent these cars from like the GPS that you've seen in the trailers, but instead, like the other movie Which Brings Me to You, these guys actually physically go through like locations. They meet at a Whopper, they go to some like I guess bar and stuff, and every time they open these doors, it goes back to maybe one of them or both of them in terms of their history, in terms of their past in a certain scenario, which is good, bad, heartbreaking, and everyone else around them in that certain scene when they go through these doors, they see them as the same age, which is 15, 21, 27, whatever, right? 12. But to us, we see them as Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie in the present day. So I thought that was pretty cool because Which Brings Me to You, which Lucy Hale and Nate Wolff, they actually just talk about it and the movie actually shows us, but with these, they go on a quote unquote big beautiful journey, lol, and have to physically go through these doors. So you kind of have to disband your belief a little bit and let the magic take hold. There are some definitely magical moments. I mean, literally, you have the GPS talking to these guys in the car, go to this destination. Some of the jokes did land for me and some of them did not, and of course the other crowd of the theater did laugh. There was one scene, I think it's in the trailer, where they're at a Burger King, and it's a beautiful Whopper by the way, so don't go when you're hungry. She says, "This is the only ring you'll be getting me," and I thought that was really funny because I'm like, wow, because he actually asked her to marry her in the beginning of the movie, what she did to him, and then he's like, I don't know, I just thought that was funny. So some jokes did land, especially for me. If anything, I think I was the youngest person in the theater. I mean, I went at like 4 o'clock prime time on a Saturday, right? And my theater, I think there was somebody else younger than me, but I don't know. I think I saw mostly like elderly couples, so that was pretty cool. I need to expand my thinking a little bit. So I told you earlier that they go past to certain scenarios. You see sometimes they talk on the moon, they go to a high school reunion, maybe it's a grandfather or mother's like death situation that you've seen from the trailers, but one favorite scene that I do want to talk about, I do have to say here. So this scene, both of them are going to this door, right? As you've seen from the trailers. And they look at each other and they're like, they don't want to go in there because I guess they knew this place and both of them knew this place, right? So they go into this door and it's wintry. It feels like a New York coffee shop, right? It's like bustling, it's hustling, there's people, and they both have their separate companions at that point in time in the past. Now, I don't know, and the movie kind of makes it believable that it could have been the same day, it could have been a different day, but it's the same place. And it could have been the same place, same time, but back then they didn't even know each other, right? And so this is just like hypothetical speaking. I mean, it could be, maybe there's some reviews or interviews with the director, right? But I thought that was so interesting because because when they go back to this past, right? They're both at this coffee shop. It was the same time that they were going to go let go of their significant others. And just for example, Colin Farrell's character, he was already engaged. And Margot Robbie's character, she had like a longtime boyfriend that they were going to take a trip, right? So they were both talking in this coffee shop. Now, what I thought was clearly unique is that the movie shows us both of their perspectives, everything. The guys, the girls, they're looking at each other. Maybe they were strangers at this point in time in the past. I thought that was very interesting and creatively done. Not only the movie forces them to be separate, it joins them together. I'm like, wow, now they're bickering back and forth of like, why are you leaving me? Why are you leaving him? And I don't know if they noticed the other couple, but to us, we know exactly because it's there's other people, but then it goes to the scene where it's just four of them and the coffee shop. So everyone else is like ghostly and stuff. So I thought that was really cool because they're looking around the table. Just the dialogue that scene was written. I know it sounds weird me talking about that, but even though that's just one scene that I really like from the whole movie, that played very well. And I thought that was like maximum ability in terms of the conversation, the dialogue they're having, and also the situationship that they're forced into because they're leaving each other or one of them's being left. And it's both of them in their past. Could have been the same point in time. One of the big negatives that it's kind of slow. I mean, not just some parts, but like most of the whole movie. If you're not invested in these characters and what they have to say each other or their past histories, or if you couldn't resonate with it, then you probably won't like this movie. I mean, basically it's just two characters talking in different scenarios in their past. That's basically what it is. Yeah, they drive this car, but if you don't really care about that or are okay with that kind of pacing, wholesome type of love, not that sexually fiery, I want to be inside of you kind of love. It's kind of like more wholesome, chill. It kind of feels more mature for me, to be honest. Like, I'm barely just being like an adult. So I feel like this would hit a little bit closer maybe when I'm a little bit older. But still, another that too is just, and I said this earlier, they don't have the best chemistry. I mean, don't get me wrong, they have chemistry to make the work, but the chemistry is not that best. It's alright, it makes the movie work, right? And the fact that it's being a little slow, and the fact that some of these scenarios are just boring. Like, yeah, it looks great, but I don't care. Like, so they talk in this lake house, okay, cool. I've never been to a lake house, and I don't plan on going to a lake house. Some of it just feels magical, which is like, alright, that's great, but for the average viewer, they might, I don't know, I mean, yeah, it's grounded in reality, some scenes, but they kind of feel like very close hook of friends, not necessarily lovers. At the end of the day, I gave this a grade C-. I did like that one particular scene, but to be honest, that's one scene out of the whole movie. I didn't really catch the score or the soundtrack very amazing to me. The one thing that was really cool is that it's being marketed as raining, there's umbrellas, and I went on a Saturday in Chicago and it was raining. So I guess that's cool. But C- for me, if you made it this far, I really appreciate so much. Maybe consider hitting that like button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. Take care, bye.